Kirgil in Kurdistan. That's one of the strong economy that's going to be powering up. A friend of mine who used to head a IT of Millennium Group, it's a wonderful hotelier group. 4 years ago he called up and said, you know what, I'm going to Kirgil. I said, you're nuts. The place is full of violence. He says, you know, once I settle, I'm going to call you. And every day I feel jealous looking at his Facebook. His guy is an amazing photographer. That place looks awesome. It's so pristine, it's peaceful, and it's booming. They've got oil brimming up to the floor. So, but then, they're doing it really right. They're spending on education, they're spending on infrastructure, they're spending to empower people. So, there's a lot of islands within the Middle East which are great potential and opportunities, provided you're there, you're present, you know, you build the relationships. Another and a significant differentiator of the Middle East is the workforce. You know, the previous slide I told you about, I talked about 200 nationalities. What does it mean? Now, all of us, we call ourselves, you know, expats. The only thread that connects us to the Middle East is pretty much our job. So, people are extra cautious when they take risks associated with their job. So, if there is a decision maker who's an expat, he's going to go down a lot of due diligence to make sure what he's doing right. So normally in any other parts of the world, if somebody's going to take a risk when doing a project, and people in the Middle East will do something really more. That's because they want to be in the Middle East, and the only thing they're going to do is their job. So basically that makes people be much more stringent in their analysis. And again, as I said, did we go back? I talked about Rastas and all of that. Another thing is, many people come and say, you know what, we know Dubai is a place of opportunity, Middle East, there's oil and all of that, how we can get money, we get $2,000 mandate rate in the US, what do you think is the right mandate rate? I said, pretty much, first of all, you're not going to get that. And secondly, people are willing to pay you that money, provided you have the right resources. And then what do? They win contracts and they put in, you know, people who've just been fresh out of college. And that can clearly kill that vendor's life forever. Because people talk, and the user groups which I talk about, these are amazing forums, and vendors are willing to come in and pay us. We say, no, we don't want you in, because what they really talk about is this vendor came in, he delivered this project which was all really bad. So that openness which happens within the user groups and the industry leaders, that's sometimes good for the vendors, they deliver good results, sometimes can be bad. And as I said, again, Dubai connects to a lot in the Middle East. And as I move on, in terms of government entities, this is a little bit on the resourcing side. There's a lot of nationalization that's happening in the Middle East. The population of UAE, including expats, is close to almost 8 million. You know, can you take a rough guess what is the nationals, when I say nationals, locals of that country, what is the number of the 8 million? Anybody wants to take a guess?
1 million.
Oh, there, you're perfectly right. Just 1 million nationals out of 8 million. So all the government jobs and all of that is for that 1 million. And normally what happens, they don't have enough people trained up and all of that. But then the government is very strict. You need to have X percentage of nationals running the business. So what the governments have to do is they have to outsource most of their operations. So outsourcing suddenly seems to be a very strong opportunity. But then the challenges from there is, you know, you have other challenges which you normally have payments or issues. They want one partner who can do the entire work, right from infrastructure to resourcing to applications to database management and training and stuff like that. And sometimes, you know, people put budgets just because they're budgets. Like for example, the Expo I told you about. 12 months ago when the Dubai government planned for it, they didn't have a budget for the Expo 2020. They realized there was an opportunity. A month later, the money was planned for, and they bid for it, and they got it done. That's what happens. When they see an opportunity, they don't really go and do budgets. They have to see clear results, and then they have to go about and doing it. There's a lot of hype you get into the IT world today. One of the hype is the cloud, which you pretty much hear about. There's a lot of legislations that prevent government entities going into the cloud. But then private companies do a lot of applications on the cloud. Some of them again do it for the prestige because, oh, I'm cloud enabled, I've done everything on the cloud. Some of them do it for logical reasons also. Of course, in terms of, if you go into industry verticals, there's BI apps, management, reporting and stuff like that. But that depends on which industry you're in. That's pretty much what the Middle East, I thought I'd give you a few of the thoughts on what that is. In terms of, as I said, the Middle East is an area of opportunity provided you know what you're doing and you understand the market and the culture. Finally, what is it ASEAN is about? in CIO Arabia, we were talking about it, and one of my friends came and said, "3 years is over." Well, I think it's interesting because, in the lives of a CIO today, it depends on whom you hear. There's this amazing, quite a strange report which Gartner came about. They said in 10 years from now, the title of a CIO or the position of CIO will not exist. He said that cloud is going to permeate the industry. Like departments within the business, they will do their own technology themselves. Like, for example, HR will do stuff themselves, finance will do things themselves, and then I asked them around, so who's going to integrate and get all the data together? And they said, well, in enterprise architecture will take care of that. But that's the challenge today. Some of the, when I was back in college, to be in IT was the dream. You have to go into IT, you want to do life. But then today, the people who get into IT still are into stress. So it's not that a CIO is a technical head. He's actually an enabler for the business. He's got to do the transformations, understand business, and push the right technology. And we have this thing about IT fashion. We keep tracks about what is the latest fashion trend. Not fashion trend in terms of floral dress or something. The latest fashion trend is third platform. This I picked it up 2 weeks before. I said, what is the third platform? I really felt very bad because these jargons, they come in overnight and everybody throws around, what's the third platform? And I was very naive and I went around and I started Googling, what's third platform? Okay. Well, it's basically what is there. You have on-premise applications, you have cloud-based applications, so they're saying this is pretty much put together as what is the third platform. IT people come up with all these jargons and the CIOs have to face it because what happens? My CEO is on a long flight from say Dubai to San Francisco. He reads about third platform is going to revolutionize the world, and then he comes up with what is the third platform? So what's the third? But that's what you are faced with, from a CIO's perspective. Today, people know technology more than anybody. When I was in college, the first time I saw a computer, it was that object, it was placed there. And I have to sign 6 registers before I go in. I have to clean my hand before I touch it. Today, the kid comes in. My son, I bought a notepad thinking I'm going to play with it. Trust me, I haven't even touched it. And my son comes and asks, Daddy, whom did you buy this for? I said, I thought I would buy it for myself. But he knows more about the notepad than I do. People today at home have more technology than at work. They know more about applications. So they know they have worked with their lives in Facebook. They know how to do things intuitively with the applications. So when a CIO was coming and saying, I've got a best platform for you for doing your appraisal, they said, oh, these things